Yo, what is up everybody? Welcome back to another episode of RJ's Reviews, where today we're going to be looking at some games that have been released while I was busy making that flight simulator on Game Builder Garage. And yeah, there have been quite a few of them, so it's going to be about a few games to cover. And that being said, if you want to play any of these games, or even the flight simulator that I just finished working on, links will be in the description. Yeah. And let's get right into it. First game I found for today's video is a game called Robot Factory. It's a very simple top-down game, and all you really do is collect apples and destroy some robots, and you do that by pressing A. It's not very complex, it's kind of short, but it's reasonable. I find that it's got a very nice little map. It's a bit challenging in some areas. Simple, and yeah, it seems like it's a pretty good game. As for score, I'm probably gonna give it somewhere around a 8 to 8.5 out of 10. It's a little more simpler for my tastes, but it's a pretty good game. The concept is pretty good. There's not much really bad about it, really. Alright, so the next game that we have on our list of games to check out for Game Builder Garage is a Game Builder Garage recreation of Super Mario 64's Bobomb Battlefield level. Now, anyone who's ever played Mario 64 for about even a minute would probably know at least a thing or two about this level. It's very legendary, so it's natural that it would come on to Game Builder Garage, but unfortunately, this port had a lot of issues with me. So much, in fact, I actually had to bring out my copy of Mario 3D All-Stars. So I went into the Game Builder Garage thing. I wasn't really expecting much, really, but it was really unrealistic and very basic by design. From at most, the most programming I really saw was the controls to get the person node on to just move the camera. Otherwise, the camera was first person, but for some reason I find that otherwise there's a lot of areas where some basic programming could have really spiced it up. Namely the chain chomp. That is a little it's a little bit barren. I would give a pass on for programming, because that's a little bit of a hard thing to really program, but especially in Game Builder Garage, where it's kind of got to follow the player kind of thing. But other things like the lifts and the bridges are they could have been programmed as well, but instead they're just the base of where they would be. And but there are a lot of other issues too, namely the fact that a lot of things like the bridges, like the big bridge that tilts and stuff in the level, that does not happen in here. I've kind of am thinking of a way where that could have actually been done with Game Builder Garage's API and stuff. The little lift area thing, where it's a little lift at like the start of the level, that is not there either. Let's not get started about the fact that you can't really even climb the big mountain. So yeah. But otherwise, I'm gonna have to give this around a 4 out of 10. It's not the greatest, I'll say. Alright, so the next game we're gonna be looking at is a recreation of the Wii U's TV menu. Now, I've never had a Wii U, so I can't really say much about this, nor do I really plan on getting my hands on one, so I don't really have much to say about this, really. But it seems like it would make sense for the Wii U. And it's a very simple one. You know, you just have some blank tiles that you can put things on. The developer did really implemented the motion controls of the Wii and the Wii U very, very well. So, I mean, especially, I could see this being used as a kind of one Joy-Con deal, and you could just wave it around, kind of like you would with the Wii's menu, where you have the Wii and use the controller and, you know, and all that. So yeah, it looks like it does pretty good. It looks like it would make sense for the Wii U, from what I've seen of the Wii U, and I think it's as best as it can get. I could say it's about a good 8.5 to 9 out of 10. There's not much really there to review it on, so I guess I'll have to leave it there. So yeah. Alright, so the next game on our list is a kind of recreation of Plants vs. Zombies. In this case, it's in 3D, by the looks of it. Obviously, because this is Game Builder Garage. And it's a very simple recreation. The only thing you get is, like, you only get, like, one pea shooter. I've never played the game, so I don't know if this actually happens. Like, you know, you only get one, but I think you get more than one plant to place down. And once you've placed it down, you can't place any more, obviously, because there's only like one. The only mechanic that only allows you to have more is the dig up mechanic, where you get to dig up your plant, but I think that can only happen once as well. And it only happens in this one at the last level, really. And on the last level, that's the only time where the actual attacks of your enemies are actually kind of a bit important. The game itself, it's very simple. It plays out like most Plants vs. Zombies like games. You know, you place your plant down, it fights the enemies, and that is it. Very simple, but it's very predictable once you get the hang of it. Namely, when you get to the last level, what had happened is that I had figured out that there's an actual spot where if you have the plant there, it will never get hit by the little ball that the boss throws as a counterattack. So you could just put it there. I mean, it's probably a limitation of Game Builder Garage, but I could think of some ways to probably improve it to have the thing backwards. But overall, it's a pretty okay-ish game. It deals with what Game Builder Garage gives you, which is not much, to be honest. And so for that, I think I'm going to have to give it a nice 7.5 out of 10. Alright, so the next game on today's list of games is a recreation of a Mario Party minigame known as Pen Pals. This one is in both English and Japanese, so if you're into that, you'll do fine, I guess. It's a very simple recreation. It's very easy to get a hang of. You can get access to the rules by looking into the source code, because they literally put the source code like literally at like the edge where you can literally read the text. It's where you can read some rule text, and it's very cool. And you can play against a computer, which is what I did, but if you have someone else who you can play with, you can do that as well. It does support some multiplayer, and the rule is pretty simple. You try and trap Waluigi and Wario, and they try and trap you in basically the same way, you know, by kind of creating a bit of a trail around them. Very simple. I'm not going to really spoil any further. It's a really simple game. The art and the aesthetics and all of the detail and attention to detail was really beautiful. I am definitely going to give it a very high review. I'm going to say a good 9.5, maybe a 10 out of 10. There weren't that many issues I really noticed. I have never played Mario Party or anything like this minigame before, but I bet if I did, it would probably be pretty similar to that. And I'd say that is a really good job right there. Alright, so the next game we're looking at is a game called Car Rush, which is a very simple little multiplayer game. I was playing it alone for all the B-roll footage here, so it's only really the blue car that's moving. But anyways, it's a very simple game. You try and basically get 120 seconds. You break as many eggs as you possibly can in that time period. It's a little weird with the controls, but now that I kind of look at it, it's designed for the Joy-Cons where everything's all sideways and stuff, so it's like that instead of whatever the hell this is. So yeah. I imagine if I was playing with actual Joy-Cons instead of my Pro Controller, it would probably play out a little more. It would play out a little better and would probably be a little easier for me to understand the controls, I guess. But otherwise, it's a very simple game. There's a few little details, like the fact that the cars are kind of got a highlight of what color they are, and basically what player you are, and it's just very simple. I'd say it's a very quick little multiplayer game, so I'm gonna have to give it a nice 7.5 to 8 out of 10. It's just very basic by design, but very good nonetheless, I'd say. Alright, so the next game that we have to look at is a recreation of Pixel Gun 3D. It's a game that I've never played, but if you've ever played it, it's a mobile game. It's kind of like if you clashed Minecraft and whatever Battle Royale's popular these days. And I've never played it, but it sounds like it would be okay-ish, I guess. I don't know. But looking at the actual game itself, it's not the worst. It's a simple shoot and do the thing with, you have a bunch of enemies and you shoot them. Pretty simple as that. The 64 by 64 pixel texture limit that Game Builder Garage gives you seems to do well for this game, and it turns out pretty good looking, so I'm not really mad at that. The one thing I did notice, however, is aside from how easy it is the fact that all of the stuff like the images and the description and videos are all copied and pasted, to the mygarage.games website thing, and they've been all copy pasted from the App Store, or whatever App Store the person who made this recreation got it from, because there's a lot of things that are like kind of inconsistent from what I've realized, like the 800 plus weapons thing that they put in the description. You only have one weapon in this recreation, and if you had 800, that would be way more than Game Builder Garage. But so clearly there was some copying and pasting going on down there, but otherwise it's a pretty okay-ish replication. I've never played it, so I have no idea if it's any good compared to the original, but there was some detail that was taken care of in this game. I will say that much. So I think I might give it a nice 7 to 7.5 out of 10 in that case. Alright, so the next game we're looking at on our list of games is a simple game called Rat. And it's very simple. You play as a rat, and it's a 3D platformer. You get to the end of the game. It's very simple, very nice. It's very good. You're literally a rat. It works out, and it's a very simple game, and I mean it's just got standard platformer controls. It's just very enjoyable. I found it quite simple, and yeah, I'd say it gets a nice 9.5, maybe even a 10 out of 10, because it's, you know, but it's a very good game for Game Builder Garage standards, I will say. So yeah, pretty good. Alright, so next game on our list is a recreation of the Iceland levels from Rayman 4. Now, I have never really played Rayman. The closest I've ever gotten is those Rabbids plus Mario games that have been a thing since like 2017. But from what I do know, it seems like it's a pretty good game. I do find the controls are pretty standard, you know, typical platformer controls, and it's very simple. It's a nice looking ice level. There's a lot of attention made for the art. It's a great multi-game. It's got like 7 games attached to it. It's very good. The whole cutscene system seems pretty cool looking. I do like how it plays very well, and I am very happy with how it is, and it's not a bad game if you ask me. So, but yeah, I'd say it deserves a nice 9.5 out of 10 out of 10. I'm gonna say not more towards 9.5 because there's a few ice chunks that are a little hard to kind of climb up and to kind of jump onto and stuff. So it's a little bit odd there, but otherwise it's a beautiful game and beautiful set of games. So yeah. So for the final game in our list of games today is Mandelbrot Zoom, which is more of a demo than it is a game. For those of you who aren't big math nerds like me, a Mandelbrot or a Mandelbrot pattern, moreover, is a shape with basically infinite sides. It's kind of a part of fractals, which are basically that. It's just a type of fractal, and it's a very cool little thing. Especially when you pair up the shape with a lot of colors. And yeah, and this is a really nice game. I will say, for Game Builder Garage, it does kind of blow my mind how they were able to even get it into Game Builder Garage. Clearly there was a lot of textures involved and a lot of stuff. And you don't have any controls over it. It's just, it zooms in, zooms out, pretty simple as that. What more can you ask for? It's beautiful, you know, and I might not spoil too much. I might leave it in as kind of a background thing because it looks pretty cool, and I think I'm gonna give this game a good 10 out of 10. If you're into these kinds of things, I'd recommend you go and get yourself a copy of it because it's a really nice little thing to kind of look at and kind of leave on a screen for a while. So yeah, yeah, pretty good. And with that being said, that is where we're going to end today's video. If you like what you saw, please leave a like and subscribe. There's at least 1 or 2 more episodes of this in the pipeline, so if you want to see this, please subscribe. And if you like other things that I do on this channel, like the 3D printing and some of the other reviews that I do of things that aren't really related to Game Builder Garage and just random things that I find interesting, you know, I do a lot of those kinds of videos, so please leave a like and subscribe for that as well. But anyways, that's where we're gonna end today, and bye.